The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Oh, absolutely.
Picture this. You are in the heart of NoHo, New York City, inside the ultra-exclusive Zero Bond Club.
Right. Highly curated, very private.
Exactly. The bass is pounding, the flashing lights are cutting through the dark, and 50 Cent is up on stage performing for a packed crowd of VIPs. It is the definition of an untouchable bubble. But then, out of nowhere, the vibe completely shatters.
It completely falls apart.
Yeah, chaos erupts near the floor. You hear shouting over a phone camera, and suddenly glass bottles are flying through the air, crashing across the venue.
Which is terrifying in a dark, crowded space.
Absolute pandemonium. Until an NBA champion literally leaps into the fray to break up a brawl before the NYPD swarms the place. Welcome to StarScope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies.
We dive deep into the stories behind the fame. And today, we are unpacking a massive stack of recent reports. From TMZ to Baller Alert to newly filed court documents about the explosive reality of Travis Scott.
Because the headline right now is everywhere. Travis Scott caught up in explosive private club fight.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is to dissect this recent club incident and trace it backward to a violently chaotic night on a Miami yacht that just resurfaced in a civil lawsuit.
It is a really jarring contrast to look at.
It really is. We are looking at a man whose escalating behavioral track record seems to exist, completely divorced from his status as a too-big-to-fail commercial giant. Think of Travis Scott like a blockbuster movie franchise.
Ooh, I like that comparison.
You know the kind, right? The studio keeps greenlighting sequels because the box office returns are simply too massive to ignore.
Right, the money's just too good.
Exactly. But behind the scenes, on the actual set of these movies, there are disastrous, dangerous accidents happening constantly. Crew members are getting hurt, equipment is getting smashed, and the liability is through the roof. Yet the show goes on.
Yeah, the product is incredibly lucrative, but the production is increasingly hazardous. And, that hazard was on full display at Zero Bond.
Let's talk about the environment there because it's crucial to understanding the incident.
For sure. Zero Bond is famous for its strict privacy.
Right. It's a members-only spot where photography is strictly prohibited. And on this particular Saturday, July 19th, 2026, the club wasn't even running its normal operations.
It was a private buyout party, wasn't it?
Yeah, hosted by the fast food chain Raising Cane's. The guest list is this surreal mix of influencers and athletes. You've got Tate McRae, Alex Earl, Logan Paul, Jake Paul.
It's a highly insulated environment, which honestly makes the catalyst for the fight so revealing.
Totally. According to the reports, Travis Scott suspects that an unidentified guest in the club is breaking that golden rule and filming him.
Right, the no camera rule.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He approaches the guest, the conversation gets heated, and within moments, members of Scott's entourage are allegedly throwing bottles across the room.
Flying glass in a crowded club. Just incredibly dangerous.
And here is the wildest cameo of the night. Jordan Clarkson.
The basketball player.
Yes. The guy just helped the New York Knicks win their first NBA championship in 53 years, and suddenly he is playing defense at a VIP party.
Wow.
Physically jumping in to de-escalate the situation and stop the bottles. Ultimately, the NYPD arrives, and both Scott and Clarkson are escorted out of the venue.
And 50 Cent.
He just keeps right on performing.
Unbelievable. But, the psychological mechanism at play here is fascinating. Scott perceives a violation of his privacy, a camera in a no-camera zone. But his reaction, or his camp's reaction, instantly escalates a perceived slight into a physical danger.
The deep irony here is just inescapable. Zero Bond's entire appeal is its strict privacy. It's supposed to be a safe haven from the public eye. By aggressively attempting to police this no-camera rule himself, Scott created a massive, chaotic public spectacle.
He literally engineered the exact thing he supposedly wanted to avoid.
Exactly. His name plastered all over the news. And that's not even the wildest part. Because if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Yeah, because this club fight didn't happen in a vacuum. When you react to a boundary violation with extreme escalation, you destroy the boundary entirely. And the timing of this is critical.
Right. It occurred just days after the ghosts of a totally separate, violently chaotic incident came back to haunt him in court.
The 2024 yacht trip.
We need to rewind to June 19, 2024 in Miami. This connection is vital because it establishes that this aggressive response to feeling challenged isn't a one-off.
No, it's part of a legally documented, very recent pattern.
So the facts of that night, as laid out in the filings, start normally enough for a celebrity. Scott charters the Carpe Diem.
That's a 105-foot super yacht, right?
Yeah, in Miami. Along with 3 female guests and his security detail. They are out on the water, there's alcohol involved, and Scott decides he wants to use a jet ski.
Which sounds standard, but the yacht's captain, a man named Adrian Frometta, looks at him and says no.
Just a flat-out no.
He refuses to let Scott on the jet ski because, according to the lawsuit, the rapper appears far too intoxicated to operate it safely.
And in maritime law and basic boating safety, the captain's word is absolute right.
100%. He is responsible for every life on that vessel, regardless of their net worth. But Scott does not accept the no.
Never does.
Instead, he orders the boat back to the marina, jumps onto the dock, and leaves his guests behind for about 30 minutes.
Which is already erratic behavior. But what happens when he comes back is what triggered the lawsuit we are seeing now in July 2026.
Right.
When Scott returns, he is informed that the charter is officially over and everyone needs to disembark. And according to the civil filings, he becomes entirely enraged.
The allegations in this lawsuit are really severe. The plaintiffs claim Scott attacked the captain, threatened to kill him, and repeatedly told the captain that he was, quote, dead.
He didn't just yell either. He allegedly shoulder-charged 2 crew members, causing one woman to crash into a table and suffer injuries.
Oh, my God.
And then he supposedly prevented the workers from leaving the yacht until the police arrived. Even his own security guard allegedly tried to calm him down and was fired on the spot for intervening.
Wow. And he was initially arrested by Miami Beach police for disorderly intoxication and trespassing after a warning.
Right, and while prosecutors eventually dropped the intoxication charge, they kept the trespassing charge.
But the criminal side is only half the story here. Now, the captain and 2 charter managers are suing him for assault, battery, and false imprisonment.
Seeking over $50,000 in damages.
Exactly. When you look at the Zero Bond incident and the Miami yacht incident side by side, a very specific picture starts to form.
What do you mean?
Well, there is a clear psychological trigger at play. Notice the environments. A VIP club buyout. A chartered super yacht.
These are highly enclosed, extremely private spaces.
Yes. Spaces where Scott expects total control. The extreme reactions, the flying bottles, the physical charging, the threats, typically occur the exact moment an authority figure tells him no.
Whether it's club rules or a boat captain.
Exactly. It is a profound intolerance to boundaries within spaces he feels he owns.
But wait, haven't we excused this kind of thing for decades as just, rock star behavior? The classic 1970s rocker trashing a hotel room, getting in a brawl, smashing a guitar on stage. Why is this any different?
Because smashing your own guitar is property damage. Shoulder charging a marina worker is assault.
That's a great point.
We are looking at a severe power imbalance. These are not scuffles with aggressive paparazzi chasing him down the street. These are allegedly physical attacks on working-class staff members.
A boat captain, a marina worker.
People just trying to do their job safely who are allegedly being threatened and physically assaulted because they enforced a rule with a wealthy celebrity.
And unfortunately, when you expand the lens beyond Miami and New York to a global scale, the documentation proves that these are not isolated incidents.
No, they are a consistent operational baseline.
When you hear this list of events, you really have to wonder, at what point does a pattern of behavior stop being a misunderstanding and start becoming a serious liability for the people around him?
The sheer volume of these incidents is staggering. Take August 2024, just a couple of months after the yacht incident.
Oh, the Paris trip.
Yeah, he is in Paris at the luxury George V hotel. He gets arrested in the early hours of the morning after getting into a physical fight. But he isn't fighting a fan or a photographer.
Who was it?
He is fighting his own bodyguard. And when a hotel security guard tries to intervene, Scott allegedly attacks him too.
Wait, really?
Yeah. He was released without charges because French prosecutors deemed it minor, but again, the pattern is there.
Then rewind a bit further to March 2023 at Club Nebula in New York City. A sound technician named Mark asks Scott to lower the music because it's too loud for the venue's size.
A totally reasonable request.
Scott's reported response. He flips the technician the middle finger, punches him in the head, requiring medical attention, by the way, and destroys $12,000 worth of sound equipment before fleeing.
That's destructive.
The NYPD actually issued a warrant for his arrest. But, how does an arrest warrant for a $12,000 destruction of property and assault just go away.
That is the invisible machinery of VIP protection.
How does that work?
It usually involves aggressive legal maneuvering, immediate financial settlements, and strict non-disclosure agreements. The venue or the individual gets a check for the damages, the victim is compensated to drop the civil pursuit, and the ecosystem resets.
Wow.
The machinery absorbs the impact so the artist doesn't have to.
And it extends to his peers, too. At the 2024 Cannes Film Festival, he gets into a physical brawl with music executive Alexander A.E. Edwards near a DJ booth at an Amphar Gala afterparty. Back in July 2021, at Michael Rubin's famous white party in the Hamptons, he gets into a massive screaming match with the rapper Meek Mill, where they have to be physically separated.
This raises major questions about the ecosystem surrounding him, the entourage, the security, the management. When this level of volatility is a known quantity, how is it being insured?
Seriously.
How is a tour booked when venues know their sound technicians might be assaulted for doing their jobs?
Which brings us to the ultimate paradox of this deep dive. How does a celebrity with this much documented aggression, this many legal settlements, and this much physical volatility maintain his status at the very top of the corporate and entertainment world?
To understand his corporate success, you have to look at him less like a traditional celebrity and more like a social media algorithm in human form.
An algorithm.
Yeah, an algorithm only optimizes for maximum engagement and raw numbers. It is completely blind to any real-world collateral damage, and Scott's numbers are undeniable.
His corporate resume is unparalleled. We are talking about a guy who partnered with McDonald's and successfully sold McNugget body pillows to the masses.
Right, the Travis Scott meal.
The meal was so popular it literally broke McDonald's supply chains across the country.
And his reach in the digital space is just as staggering. In 2020, he held a virtual concert inside the video game Fortnite. It drew over 27 million unique viewers.
27 million. That is insane.
He has highly coveted, consistently sold-out sneaker collaborations with Nike and Jordan brand. He partnered with Dior. He was a strategic creative partner for the launch of the PlayStation 5.
Even recently, in May 2025, he was announced as the sponsor for the Spanish soccer giant FC Barcelona as part of a Spotify campaign.
It's massive.
He is woven into the fabric of global, family-friendly corporate branding.
We cannot discuss this commercial invincibility, though, without addressing the darkest hour of his career, because it highlights just how thick that corporate insulation really is.
November 5, 2021, the Astroworld Festival in Houston, Texas. A horrific crowd crush occurred during his performance.
10 people lost their lives that night.
The victims ranged in age from 9 years old to 27 years old. Hundreds more were injured.
The details of that night are permanently etched into the public consciousness. There is extensive video footage showing Scott continuing to perform for roughly an hour while the crush was happening.
Yeah, that footage was everywhere.
At one point, an ambulance with flashing lights was slowly moving through the packed, suffocating crowd, and he continued the show, encouraging the audience to get wild.
In June 2023, a Texas grand jury declined to indict him criminally for the tragedy. He faced billions of dollars in civil lawsuits, many of which have been quietly settled by that same VIP machinery we talked about earlier.
Right.
But from a career standpoint, the corporate deals barely paused. His 2023 album, Utopia, spent a month at #1. His 2024 tour was reported to have grossed over $209 million.
The machine never stopped.
No, it didn't. Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking tryst nobody saw coming.
Because there is a threshold where engagement metrics stop protecting you. And we actually just saw a massive corporation find that exact limit.
Let's look at his 2025 run with the WWE. This is a fascinating pivot, because WWE is the undisputed king of managing controversial personalities.
Oh, absolutely.
In January 2025, WWE brings Travis Scott in with massive fanfare. His new song, 4x4, is made the official theme song for Monday Night Raw.
He is appearing on screen. They give him a massive storyline push leading up to WrestleMania 41, where he actually interferes in the main event between Cody Rhodes and John Cena.
The plan was huge. He was scheduled to make his actual in-ring wrestling debut in a tag team match.
Plus, he was going to be featured as a surprise DLC, a downloadable digital character you could purchase and play as in the WWE 2K25 video game.
But abruptly, WWE scrapped the entire thing. They completely erased him from all future plans.
Just gone.
Well, according to the sources, it was a disaster behind the scenes. First, it was revealed that WWE only featured him so heavily because Ari Emanuel, the CEO of WWE's parent company, promised Scott the spot as a personal favor.
I see.
But once he was actually in the building, WWE executives reportedly found him lazy and incredibly difficult to work with.
And it wasn't just a bad attitude, right? It was physical negligence.
Exactly.
Mm.
During a segment at the Elimination Chamber event, Scott was supposed to participate in a staged, highly choreographed attack on Cody Rhodes.
Right, standard wrestling stuff.
But Scott threw what wrestlers call a potato, a very real improper punch, and legitimately struck Rhodes in the side of the head, causing a busted eardrum and a black eye.
Oh my goodness.
So he goes off script, injures the company's top star, acts unprofessionally backstage, and the WWE finally says, enough, you're out.
It is one of the first times we've seen a massive corporation actually cut ties with him over his behavior.
If we synthesize this dichotomy, the flying bottles at the club, the attacks on the yacht crew, the tragedy at Astroworld versus the McDonald's meals and the Fortnite concerts, it teaches us something profound about the modern attention economy.
It really does. McDonald's, Nike, Spotify, they are not endorsing his behavior. They are buying his engagement metrics.
They are buying access to the millions of fans who will buy a shoe or a concert ticket, regardless of whether he punches a sound engineer in New York or traps a boat captain in Miami.
Precisely. As long as the engagement remains high, the corporate insulation remains thick. WWE only cut ties because his behavior threatened their specific product and injured their specific talent.
They couldn't control the liability.
So they cut the cord.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive. When you pull back and look at the whole board, from the flashing lights of zero bond in 2026 to the $50,000 lawsuit from the Miami yacht in 2024, the overarching theme is undeniable.
Travis Scott is an artist who operates entirely on his own terms.
He exists in a curated bubble where the word no is treated as an act of aggression, often leaving a trail of legal settlements, injured working-class staff, and chaotic headlines in his wake.
Yet he remains financially insulated by a massive corporate empire that values his metrics over his methods.
It is a remarkable testament to the sheer power of modern celebrity and how the invisible machinery works overtime to protect the algorithm.
It really is.
So I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own. We just talked about an artist who survived the public fallout of a mass casualty event at his own festival and who has a documented history of allegedly assaulting the working class people hired to serve him.
Right.
If all of that hasn't derailed his commercial dominance, what exactly is the breaking point for cancel culture when it comes to undeniable profitability?
Are we, as consumers, streaming the music and buying the shoes, ultimately complicit in funding the exact chaos we pretend to condemn online?
Think back to that blockbuster movie franchise we talked about at the beginning. If we all keep buying tickets to the sequel, can we really be surprised when the studio ignores the fires burning on the set? You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.